Step number 6. Are you ready? Are you ready? Get on it. Let's go. Now we're going to start talking about where you saved your big bucks, and that is in the editing process here. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about editing in general before we get into the prompts that you're going to need. When you're writing a book, there are a few different editorial stages that you're going to go through, and with each of these, I leave at least a week, usually 1 to 4 weeks of mental space in between your edits. When you are in your book, you can't see the forest through the trees. You can't see that integral part that you forgot to explain because your brain has just been, going over and over and over this for the entire time that you've been reading the book. You can't see that there are some sentences that just don't make sense because you've been over it so many times. You need to be able to step back, take a break, and then come back into it and make sure that your message is actually what you're saying. There are a lot of, write your book in 30 days courses out there, but I'm going to be honest with you, I think that they're kind of garbage. Do you think that Atomic Habits was written in 30 days? Do you think the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People was written in 30 days? Nah, they're not. That's just clickbaity advertising. You don't want to be writing a fast book. You want to write a book that changes minds and shifts markets and actually improves people's lives. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the different kinds of editing that you need. So you've written your first manuscript. Congratulations, go out and celebrate. It's a massive achievement. And then we start editing. Your first edit is going to be a market assessment to make sure that everything that you've written is actually coherent and does have a place in the market. The second is going to be a developmental assessment that goes through the overall structure of the entire book. And the third one is a copy edit, and that's where all of your grammar lives. After that is where humans need to intervene. That is where you would be getting a manuscript assessment from a professional editor, which will tell you whether your book is market ready or not. Now, any one of these assessments will generally be between like $2,000 and $5,000 for an editor that's worth their salt. And they would normally take between 1 and 3 months to go through your manuscript and then deliver a report back to you. So these prompts that we're going through is where you really save. You save big time. I spent the first part of my writing career paying people to deliver the sort of prompts now, to deliver the sort of reports now that I can get with a prompt. So let's dive into it. Prompt number 1. Acting as a cutthroat marketing and branding expert, assess my manuscript. Give me a list of strengths, a list of weaknesses, and a report on how the content stacks up against competitors and comparable books in my field. You are not my friend. You are my world-class mentor who does not pull punches because they are committed to helping me produce a world-class piece of literature. You give credit where credit is due, but do not sugarcoat a hard truth. You really want to remind it of that part again, because in this part, the gloves need to come off. The truth needs to be had. And that's right. The first step in editing is to make sure that you know that you're on the right track. This is how you battle your imposter syndrome, because you know every step of the way what it is you need to be focusing on and whether you're writing something that actually has a place in the market or not. And the reason why we do this after you've written is because as you were going through the writing process, you would have constantly been taking ideas and then throwing them out. You're changing, you're assessing, you're honing in on your expertise, and the manuscript that you have may not actually be entirely representative of the structure that we created way back when. So having this prompt in now is just like a little checkpoint to make sure that you are in the right place, doing the right things. And I actually use this prompt sometimes through my writing process if I make like a really big change. The best part about it is you don't have to wait months for an answer. You can plug this in at any time for your peace of mind. So you've got that prompt back and it told you some nice things, then it told you some things that you needed to fix, and you fixed it. And then you took a break for your brain between 1 and 4 weeks, and now you're back and you are ready to ask it about developmental editing. Let's go through that prompt. Acting as a world-class developmental editor with expertise in your topic, assess my manuscript. Deliver a report of strengths and weaknesses and detailed suggestions of how to fix those weaknesses. We are creating a bestseller here. Highlight anything that's going to detract from that quality of work. Tell me why and tell me how to fix it. Highlight where my prose slips from being you-centric to being me-centric. I don't want my readers to be bored. They need to feel like my story is about them. You are not my friend. You are my world-class mentor, blah, 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 blah. Now, whether you're working with a human editor or whether you are working with an AI editor, you are always going to receive a report. AI does not edit your work for you. Just like a developmental editor or even a copy editor does not edit your work for you, it will highlight where things need to be changed and then you come in and do the work. So in that respect, there isn't actually a big difference between what you're getting from a human and what you're getting from the AI, so long as you have, the right prompt to get this expertise. So we go back in, we change the manuscript again in accordance to what the editorial report has suggested. And this is where your authority lives. This is how you become the expert on your topic. This is how, when you're promoting your book, you can go into podcasts without preparation. You can step out onto stage without preparation. You can go to, depending on how far your book's, TV interviews without preparation because you went over the information again and again and again and again. You started being interested in a topic, but at this point, you've authored the book on it. You are the authority on it. You become the expert through the writing of it. And now you're ready for copy editing. Copy editing is the bane of my existence. I love writing. I hate editing, grammar, spelling, And I don't use ChatGPT for this. I use a program called Prolific Works. It's kind of like Microsoft Word, with its red squiggly lines, except way better. In Prolific Works, it will go through your sentence structure. It will go through your grammar. You can put in comparable titles. You can put in comparable authors. You can put in comparable writing styles. And this is why Prolific Works trumps Grammarly, because Grammarly is very academic writing, whereas with Prolific Works, you can be editing your conversational writing so that it still sounds like a conversation. And remember, every book is a conversation between author and reader. If you ever pick up any of my books, you will hear the way that I speak through my words. You will hear it in your brain. You won't be able to not hear it, not after you spend an hour with me talking. And that's the sort of effect that you want to have as well. When people pick up your book, even if they don't know what your voice sounds like, they want to feel like it's a conversation. Maybe that you're having over a coffee, or that you're having over a beer, or a story that you're telling a table or a group of interested people. And you can use Prolific Works with that. It's not going to make it perfect. Benefit for that as well is if you're publishing for different markets, you can get it to adjust for Australian English, British English, and American English, because they are all different. They all have different colloquial language. They all have slightly different grammar needs. And one of the biggest things that people love to give feedback on is their grammar wasn't right. The average person doesn't know about the structure that goes into a book, so they don't see the overall message. What they see is that there was meant to be a full stop there, and there wasn't. What they see is there are too many EM dashes, so it was obviously written by ChatGPT. People are funny. But prolific works is what you need for your copy edit. And I don't have an affiliate link for that. I should find an affiliate link for that, but I'm telling you what I'm using because it works, not because I'm getting paid for it. And then after that, you're ready for your manuscript assessment. There are a couple of different outfits that I like to use. You can go with Editors Victoria, Editors Australia, Editors whatever country you are writing in. For my fiction students out there, I use Jericho Writers. There's actually a program that they have where they'll match you up with an author with a editor that specializes in your particular genre of fiction. And I use different editors for different projects. Some authors like to stay with the same person. And if you're using a publishing house, they will always have like their team. But if you're self-publishing, like I do, you can always look for the best talent. You can always look for who is tailored for the project that you're going to be working on, and don't worry about using different people. So by now, you know how to fill your ideas sheet with all of the things that are relevant for your book. You know how to structure that into an idea. You know how to structure that idea into a branded system in book form. And you know the prompts that you need to edit that to save you thousands of dollars. Last aspect is mental health. Let's get to it.